The Lagos state government has ruled out negotiations with the kidnappers of 6 students of the senior secondary school model college, Igbonla. The kidnappers had given parents of the abducted students till Tuesday last week to pay 20 million naira for each of the students, threatening to relocate them if the demand was not met. Now, the students were abducted nearly 2 weeks ago, and their kidnappers are believed to have moved them out of Lagos and Ogun Creeks. And joining us on Skype from Washington to discuss this developing story is security analyst Sam Phatey. Well, it's no longer news that kidnapping is the most lucrative job in this part of the world. A lot has been said about the need for government to look into the underlying factors that are contributing to this rise in kidnapping. I wonder what you have to say about that.
You know, I think first and foremost, in many parts of Africa, including in Nigeria, what seemed to be a pandemic is lack of intelligence when it comes to security. Oftentimes, our security forces mostly are like just fresh out of high school, and young people probably they don't have jobs, and then they will enlist into the police and into the army. I think after that happens, what government needs to do is to invest in more training for them, especially when it comes to intelligence gathering and counterinsurgency. Now, when you look at the situation that happened with the kidnapping of the students, and oftentimes when students are kidnapped, this is for ransom. And in this case, the first attempt happened on Wednesday night. And it failed, right? The security guards were there, they alerted the police, they thwarted the event. Now, after that had happened, what killed the police from patrolling the area, clearing the bushes, and as a matter of fact, stationing a couple of guards at the school? I mean, do we call it an oversight, or do we call it negligence, or is it lack of proper intelligence training? Because after you thwarted a kidnapping attempt, I mean, those things should have been in place. The bushes behind the schools to the swamp had to be cleared as well, because actually the kidnappers were patrolling the area in the swamps with their boats and brandishing their weapons for at least 2 weeks before the first kidnapping attempt happened on Wednesday, which failed. And then because there were no measures taken, and the kidnappers knew there were no measures taken, they decided to attempt a second one.
All right, Sam, it seems it's a case of twice beaten, twice shy. Now, there are reports that the kidnappers are engaging the parents in selective ransom negotiation. Now, should parents or victims of this problem negotiate with kidnappers, will that end it? It seems that is what is even fueling it.
I mean, the parents being engaged means that they actually feel that the government, especially the state government, is not doing what they are supposed to do to help get their kids back. So they are taking matters into their own hands. Actually, the kidnappers, the parents initially tried to get in touch with the kidnappers and try to make an offer, but the kidnappers said they didn't want that, and they didn't want to negotiate with the parents. They wanted to talk to the state government. And if the parents continue to feel that way, it means that the government is failing on their part to secure the release of these kids. Now, asking for 20 million naira for each of these kids is no small amount of money. I mean, that's a lot of money. Now, how will these parents come up with it? Exactly that we all don't know. But according to these parents, they are raising the money, and they are doing everything they can to secure their kids. And they are pointing fingers to the government to do more. And I think, yes, the government has to do more. Now, but again, security-wise, if the government decides to pay a ransom, it means they are encouraging more kidnappers to go ahead and kidnap more students. Now, what they need to do is, while they can negotiate to have these kids out, or if worst case scenario, if they have to pay this money, they have to put measures in place to make sure that such things don't happen, especially when it comes to boarding schools. There needs to be a higher level of protection there. I think the government needs to put that into consideration.
Of course, I was going to ask you what more does the state government and the federal government, as a matter of fact, needs to do. You've just touched on that. Now, the Lagos House of Assembly has just criticized the so-called neighborhood watch, which this state government put in place. They were expected to somehow help out the police in providing intelligence so that you can have kidnapping reduced to the barest minimum, but that seems not to be working. So what exactly will work?
Look, I think in most part of Africa, we have to get away from this neighborhood watch idea and situation. I think what every government needs to do, including the government of Lagos, is let us weed out ghost workers out of their payroll, okay, and make sure that you fight and tackle corruption. Is going to be a difficult thing in Africa, including in Nigeria. But let us also make sure that you equip and train the police and figure out means and mechanisms to make sure that you increase their salaries so that they don't have to take bribes or even be involved in some of these activities. I mean, let us make sure that these streets are patrolled. But I mean, look, Lagos is a city that is a state that is making billions and billions of dollars in revenue every year. I mean, I don't see why there couldn't be enough investment into the security services. I mean, a more secure Lagos means that a better a better economy for the state. Now, this is one of the biggest financial capitals in Africa. So I do not see why there cannot be enough money invested into security. Get enough patrol cars, equip the security forces, make sure that they go on constant patrols. I mean, these are things that investments that are worthwhile, investments that would bring gain. But if security forces are not patrolling, it means security is weak. It means people have the opportunity to come and do whatever they want, like kidnapping, and get away with it. I mean, imagine the police commissioner said they have a clue who kidnapped these students. Of course, you have a clue, but then how have they been able to manage to get them out of the area? I mean, if there was ample security, they should find it very difficult to get these students out of Lagos. I mean, they found it, apparently the kidnappers found it easy. It shows very weak security on the part of the state.
There. Thank you for your analysis, Sam Phatey, security analyst, and thank you for appearing on TVC News Hour.